put in that man's vehicle. So that quickly
Yes,
reminded that today is Palm Sunday, really.
that's true,
So
sir.
thank you, and God bless you. So I pray that we have a very successful celebration of the
Amen,
Easter,
sir.
and the lesson of the Easter may be part of our own lives as well.
Amen.
We started the class with introduction when we talk about what the course is concerned with. Essentially, we said social welfare and development has to do with issue of poverty, addressing unemployment, addressing populations at risk. I remember some people asked about the difference between population at risk and the vulnerable groups. I try to distinguish between the two. That the population at risk too, they are also vulnerable, but not all the vulnerables are population at risk. Especially those portion of the population that is much more exposed to to risk or to danger. Those ones they are referred to as the population at risk. So what we are trying to say is that for us as a social worker, what we do is to ensure that we assist people to live a better life, better than the situation you met them. So you want to assuage their problems, you want to mitigate the various challenges they must have been facing. It's as a result of the problem that we have, the life-threatening problem that are confronting us. That is why the issue of social welfare comes up, and this will provide answers to various questions, to various issues that we may have as a people. Then we'll also move to social welfare, being referred to as a system of law, programs, and so on and so forth, as an organized system of social services. In essence, we try to define what the social welfare is and what the social welfare actually composed of. What are the components of the social welfare? What are those things that are involved when we are talking about social welfare? To the extent that we said it involved the mobilization and utilization of community resources in meeting the needs of individuals and groups in the community. You want to maximize the little resources that we have to ensure that everybody is at ease, or everybody is at peace, or everybody lives well. You want to lift the standard of living of the people. I mean, the quality of life of people, you want to improve upon it. Then the social welfare will come in. Such services that brings smiles to people, such are the services that we feel will suit the social welfare actually addresses. The services that we may think about that can improve the quality of life of the people. So then we talk about social welfare. Again, um, sorry. Again, we also talk about, we also talk about those services which include the full range of organized activities of voluntary and governmental agencies. I think I explained that the voluntary in aspect of the churches, mosques, religious organizations, non-governmental organizations, civil society organizations, as well as all others that are voluntarily uh, provided without the effort of the government. All this, they try to prevent, alleviate, or contribute to the solution of the recognized social problems that we have in the society. Um, Again, we said the provision of welfare social services is called social work, and the core domain of social work is intervention. You know, somebody was trying to ask about that the other time when I try to recall that the essence of social work is intervention in the life of the people. And today, we thank God that this social work, I mean, the social welfare has taken different dimensions. which has brought a number of development to our nation. We talk about social development, which is about improving the well-being of every individual in society so that they can reach their full potential. When an individual potential is enhanced, so that is, we talk about the individual development. The two are interwoven and they are related. Social development also means investing in people, empowering people, so that when an individual is well taken care of, definitely such an individual will become a useful element in the society. Then we'll drive on social security as well. When we talk about social insurance, we talk about public assistance, and the social insurance has to do with what the legal entitlements that are due to maybe the retirees. The government try to put in place their contributory pension scheme, try to put in place a national health insurance scheme, and so on and so forth. For those people that are working with the federal national health insurance scheme, the state government, some state government also, they have introduced state health insurance scheme that covers the working class in those governments. At times, some state government extend it to the retirees as a sort of social insurance for them. The public assistance, where they will just give them assistance without paying any cover, without paying tax, they could give them such assistance. Then we move to social policy. And under the social policy, we talk about national social protection policy, the NSPS that I asked you to go and read more about it, and some other policies that are of relevance to discuss. And essentially, we talk about social welfare policy, social development policy, community development policy, women development policy. Of course, there is women development, there is a gender policy that is related to women development. I have that copy too, and it's important. You can also read more about that. But essentially, I refer you to the National Social Protection Policy as an umbrella body for all the policies on social welfare. We talk about youth development policies, sports policies, disaster management, so many policies. Of course, you should trust Nigeria. You should trust Nigeria as a country. We develop so many policies, but the implementation is our problem. So you can read more about how such policies are formulated, and I try to tell you that this actually spells out the action plan of government directed toward providing improvement in the living of the people, especially lifting people out of poverty, improving the living standard of people. Such policy also regulate the life of people and improve the life of society members, and so on and so forth. We talk about the aims of social work services. I think on that, I try to explain the purpose of the social welfare, the objective of social welfare, and we discuss problem solving, assisting vulnerable, providing rehabilitation and integration service for individuals in prison, as well as the physically challenged, vulnerable persons and their community. Do you know that social work also provide rehabilitation and integration services to fistula clients? The fistula clients are those, I don't know whether you have heard about fistula before. I wouldn't
Yes,
know.
sir.
Okay, you have heard about fistula. So, in
Yes,
fact,
sir.
the institute is much more involved in the rehabilitation and integration. USAID commissioned the institute, the Chartered Institute, to handle rehabilitation and integration of fistula clients. And we've been doing this since 2017, 2018 as an important project in Nigeria, in conjunction with Agenda Health. And the aspect that we'll handle is rehabilitation and integration. This period, I mean, between 2022 and this time, the institute has also worked very hard on that aspect under the MSS FPO project, and we have done our part to ensure that the victims, the fistula clients, those that are affected by fistula, the fistula survivors, and even those that have just been affected by the condition, they are well taken care of. The institute formulated some modules to ensure that they live a better life, so that they can come back as a human being, as a worthy human being, so that their own life becomes also worthy. So these are some of the purpose, the aims of social work services: promote effective operation of the system. We carry out research as well. Then we'll talk about basic principles of social work. You can also read them up. They are very simple, and they are straightforward, because in social work there is that interdependence between individual and society. Nobody is an island. A person that lives, is an individual, he doesn't live alone. He has to interrelate with others, even within his neighborhood. Then we also talk about social change. We talk about social change, which is entirely new. That is totally different from it. It is the fundamental restructuring of the way members of a particular society relate and function in relation to another group. So definitely there must be a change when there is a relationship. So we'll move then, because we have been having so many changes, and such as revolution, natural disasters, all this will bring change in the living or in the life of any individual. Look at the banditry in the northwest, Boko Haram, terrorism in the northeast, youth, what do they call it, in the Niger Delta, what agitation, this agitation from the Niger Delta youth, all this, they are all changes that will definitely affect, will cause, that will result into some other changes in the social interaction of people. So all this will bring a kind of change from the normal equilibrium type of life we were before. When such happens, when we have a disaster, when we have wars, when we have anything that trigger the existence of human beings, will actually cause a social change. Look at what happened within the last 2 weeks in Delta State, where the youth in Delta lay ambush for the military personnel, about 16 or 13 of them, about 16 of them thereabouts. And their condition in that area change because of that incident. It has changed, and so many other things has come into their life. The same thing when we have problem, we have protests. Look at when we had this NSAS protest in 2020. This brought a number of changes into our life. When we had COVID-19, in 2020, you see what it has brought to our life. It has actually brought into the limelight the use of online lectures, Zoom meeting, and all this. In fact, that particular 2020 COVID-19, the aftermath of COVID-19 promoted the significance of online learning, and emphasizes this Zoom program that we do most often. It's as a result of such changes in our normal system. Then we also talk about vulnerable and marginalized groups. The vulnerable and marginalized group, I explained that. We talk about the children, the elderly, physically challenged, unemployed, the needy, vulnerable, and so on, victim of accident, and so on and so forth. Children and young people, risk factor of, we talk about child abuse. You should know what is child abuse. Who are those that are concerned? What do we do when a child or young person is in danger? What are those things that we should do? We talk about 5 principles of adult safeguarding: prevention, paramountcy, partnership, protection, and parental responsibility, and accountability. The role of the NAPTIP police and this law enforcement agency and their allies cannot be overemphasized in dealing with this problem. We talk about the elderly abuse as well. Who is most likely to abuse the elderly? Don't forget who said the abuse is mostly by family members, mostly by family. That does not mean that others don't abuse their elders. They don't abuse the elderly, but mostly by the family members. Then, what are the social needs of other persons? Well, when I was talking about the policy, let me quickly chip in this. I forgot to tell you that, although I've been telling you before, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is chapter 2, which talk about the social welfare that we have been talking about since. You should take that one as an important aspect that will be examined. I talk about chapter 1, no, the chapter 2, sorry, which talks about fundamental objectives and directive principle of state policy. And I said section 14, subsection 2b state that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. That is supreme. The Constitution is supreme. That is why I also reference chapter 1. We talk about the supremacy of the Constitution. All other laws, they follow Constitution. Of course, you know that. So when it talks about that, it means that its provisions are abiding force on all authorities and persons throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 16b, section 12d talks about sustainable. Subsection 16b and subsection 12d talks about suitable and adequate shelter, suitable and adequate food, reasonable national minimum living wage, old age care, and pensions, and unemployment and sack benefit, welfare of the disabled, etc. Section 17 also talk about many of these. All these um, all these centers on center on social welfare. Then quickly before I leave that, the National Social Protection Policy, I said you should also consult. I told you about its feature, the objective of the policy, what the policy intend to achieve. Please read them up. Uh, I may want to touch some of it in your questions. I think that is all about the National Social Protection Policy. But I also talk about objectives of social welfare. Please don't forget to do that as well. Um, Again, we have talked about elder abuse. What are the symptoms of elder abuse and signs? Financial abuse warning signs, physical or sexual abuse warning signs, and all these. Neglect warning sign, emotional abuse, risk factor, abusive caregiver, physically challenged, and the handicap. Don't forget that we are considering the vulnerables. The unemployed too. We talk much about that unemployment when I talk about the what do we call it? The NDE. What has government done to ensure that all these are addressed? The issue of unemployment. What has government done on its social protection nets that have been established by the last administration and the present administration that is being pursued by the present administration? And then finally, we'll talk about social entrepreneur. Quickly remind you that in social entrepreneurship, I told you that this has to do with enterprise. It concerns enterprise for a social purpose and involves building organizations that have the capacity to be both commercially viable and socially constructive. So the why the entrepreneurship is joined with social is because of the business part, the business section that is added to the social there, because the entrepreneurship has to do with the business. That is joining is an innovative business venture that influences change. That is to say, the aim of social entrepreneurship is to create lasting social change through business. That's the only difference. Through business, like empowering people, giving people skill acquisition to enable them hand some things to ensure that their life change sustainably. That is to say that a sustainable kind of program, a sustainable kind of venture for our clients to ensure that his or her life is worthy of living. So it has business as an aspect, as a component to it, to make sure to ensure that such a person changes for better. So I think these are areas we touch within the couples of a few weeks that we had the opportunity of meeting together in this particular class. I don't know if you have any remarks or you have questions, you have observation on what we have just done, and I want to assure you your question cannot go beyond what we have discussed. But don't forget to add the element or to add the input of the Constitution and National Social Protection Policy to your reading. Thank you. You could see that you're the only person that is on the call since we started. So let me listen.
It's fine, sir. I think one or two other persons came, but they left again. I don't know what happened.
No, wala. Now then, I be that. I don't know if I've been able. I know they don't know book. Yeah. No wala now, but because they said we should have the revision, that's why I also sacrificed my time.
Exactly. Yes.
It was I don't even have that time. I had to manage myself to ensure that I didn't disappoint. So nonetheless, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you did
know
well, sir.
what's your reaction with regards to the revision.
No, it's okay. I think I'm okay. Okay
All
with
right,
it. Yes,
that,
sir.
that, that that's better. So your question will not go beyond what we have just discussed, and all my where
It's
where I
fine,
put
sir.
my where I put my emphasis. You should also note it that when I emphasize all areas where I put my emphasis, they are very, very important.
Okay, sir.
All
We'll
right.
try our best, sir. Thank you so
Yeah,
much, sir.
it is
I
going to be
appreciate
well.
it.
I like you're going to start from Wednesday, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it is well.
Amen, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. My regards to
You're
everybody.
welcome, sir. I appreciate you too, sir. Thank you so
No,
much.
no,